Hey guys, welcome back to another Flesh and Blood video. This video is proudly brought to you by the House of Cards, the official sponsor of my stream. Be sure to check out the link in the description below for all of your Flesh and Blood needs. Guys, today we're going to do a matchup breakdown of what Vigor versus Kayo looks like. And instead of just picking out one game to show you guys, I've picked out two games that I feel like highlight and showcase both sides of the matchup and their ups and downs. I think showing both sides of the matchup is really important because it's very easy to get caught up in your own testing and your own bias depending on how you play and who you test against. The way we're going to do this is we're going to watch the first match that I played, and then afterwards we're going to have a few minute review, kind of break down the match and where I think things went wrong or where things went right for me. Then we're going to watch the second match, and then we're going to break that one down as well. And I'm going to give you the ins and outs of every match and things that I think I could have improved on and where my opponent could have improved. Now, guys, this is a new video concept for me, so if you like the video, be sure to let me know in the comments down below. And if there's things you think I can improve on, please let me know as well. Okay, playing against Kayo here, my opponent plays Cast Bones and makes 5 Might tokens and passes. So I think we want to keep the Trounce in our hand at the ability to be able to block with it next turn. So I think what we can do is just go ahead and throw the Prime to fight here. And we're just not going to arsenal the Trounce. Like, that's one of the problems about having the Trounce in hand. You can't really arsenal it and set up to have like a 5-card hand or anything. You're just kind of forced to keep, like, IP yourself here and keep it in hand. Ooh, this is also not a great card to... So this is just 12. I mean, I think blocking like this and taking 2 is fine. I could probably just block with the shield here if I wanted. I think I'm better off to take 2. So let's see. We won this, but then we have Chokeslam and Pack Hunt, so we're just not going to. Oh, the Pack Hunt wins, so they get a gold as well, which, I mean, I think is fine. Like, I don't think that's a problem. Let's see. If we crack the gold, we'll have 2 floating draw blue. We'll have 5 resources, so might as well just go ahead and throw the Grindstone for 5 here. Since we won our Trounce, we can actually just throw this for 5, and then we're able to keep... I don't think that's worth it. I think it's fine to just give this a counter. So since the Tunic is coming up, we're just going to be able to use the 2 blues here to throw the Macho Grande. Unfortunately, we did not draw 2 blues. So what we can do is we can block Command and Conquer and Spinal Crush if we want to, and then we can throw the Golden Sun for 10 overpower. I mean, I hate to leave that over there, but I don't really think that, like, blocking to do this, like, it's not like we can make a surge when we're playing Tunic. We're just using Tunic to, like, you know, kind of on our off turns here. If I block with Command and Conquer, I don't know, this is tough. I guess let's just block 6 here. Like, I think blocking 6 is fine. Let's see. If I crack the gold to draw a card with a Golden Sun, I could draw into a blue and throw the red Macho. I think we'll just use Tunic and come in for 10 overpower here. Like, it's just a good portion of value here for us. So we'll just push damage here. Try to get on the front foot and start playing some offense this way. Our opponent hasn't really done much to this point, though. Like, the Cast Bones was really good for them, but, like, we were just able to block. We've kind of given ourselves, like, 11 points of advantage here, but I don't know. Like, it just kind of felt like our opponent hasn't done much this game. They're also on the Runner, which for anybody who's thinking about playing KO, who is playing KO, I think that card's kind of a trap, to be honest, so... wow, okay. So, man, if we had the Tunic, we could throw this for 11 Dominate with the Asunder. I think our best play might just be to throw the Macho Grande and then arsenal the Cranial Crush. Let's see. If I pitch this to play Asunder, I can't play the Chokeslam, and I can't play the Macho Grande, so I think we're just going to arsenal the Cranial Crush here. We're going to Arsenal the Cranial Crush here because arsenaling the Asunder is kind of a trap. Asunder's not that great against KO early game because they have so much of a fridge they can block with. But as the game goes on longer, we'll be able to get more value out of Asunder. So second cycle Asunder looks a lot better than first cycle Asunder if you're new to Guardian gameplay. Now, we're not really throwing on hit effects here at our opponent. We're just throwing big damage. Like, we're just really trying to race our opponent here. We're just trying to push as much as we can here to try to really put them on the back foot. We're already up 11 points this game. No fear. They're going to banish the other 2 cards from their hand. Yep. So they're only going to take like, what, 3? Yep. We're going to go Asunder and then Chokeslam. Arsenal the Cranial Crush. We're arsenaling the Cranial Crush because we can keep 2 blues and just kind of throw that. Like, we can block 6 and just keep 2 blues to throw Cranial Crush. I think I actually want to block 3 with the Prime to fight, attack with the Cranial Crush, and then have Chokeslam coming up with a Tunic on the following turn. Let's go ahead and give the shield here. I like giving the shield in case we do need to like recycle, like in case we need to cycle this for a clash that's important. Like if we win the first hit off of a Trounce and then we lose the second one and it seems like we have a reasonable chance at winning, I'll crack the shield if we've already blocked for 2 to try and get it, because the value that we get off of winning a Trounce is actually insane. So I will definitely go that route for sure. I think our opponent's kind of deciding here. If they have set up a Blood Rush Bellow, then it's important to note that they have to block here because Cranial Crush stops them from drawing cards. Like a blue that attacks for 8 that turns off the Blood Rush Bellow, part of Blood Rush Bellow is really big for us. Okay, they must not have anything that they want to... They must not want to draw cards this turn, which is fine. Okay, I'm curious to know why. I can only assume they want to throw 2 attack actions at me if they're going that route. Okay, so they actually get to keep going in here. Okay, I mean, it's a little weird because they've seen like some information has exchanged here, but I think it's fine. We win the Trounce. Let's go. Cranial Crush into Spinal. Man, we're getting pretty lucky with the Trounces right now. Like, honestly, you love to see it. So, what do we want to do here? We have 1 floating, which means we could just... I mean... Like, we can't really punish our opponent too much other than throwing the Spinal Crush for 10. There's no pummels in the deck, so drawing with the gold doesn't seem very relevant here. I think we're just going to pitch everything. Like, we'll just pitch everything and throw Spinal Crush for 10 here. Like, I think this is fine. Spinal Crush is a card that demands to be blocked on a turn when they're looking to abuse an agility token and 6 might tokens to get back into this game. Give me a card, Scabs, and Flesh Bag here would be the play to take 3, go to 13. Now, they discarded the Blood Rush, so we know they have a Blood Rush, but we're also up 24 points. Like, I'm going to be honest, I could be, like, wrong here, but I don't know what they could have that gets them back into this game. Like, honestly, like... Now, they do have 6 might tokens and an agility token, so, like, they have a lot of value this turn that they can get, but we're hoping to try and I think we might be too far ahead, honestly, at this point for them to come back. They've given us too much value. Now, I do tip my hat to my opponent for realizing that they have to have a swing turn here. Like, they have to have a swing turn to actually, like, try to get back into this game. So let's block 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Take 2. We'll go to 35. No, that's fine. We could put one of our cards in the bottom to try and draw a card here, but I don't think it's worth it. I think I would rather just keep my card, like, because there's a good chance we hit another 6, or like there's Asunders in the deck. Like, there's lots of options there for things that we could hit. So, are they going to throw something else at us? Like, is this a swing big? Are they following up with a swing big? because that could be very good for them. Command and Conquer could be really good. I don't know if they're playing Command and Conquer, but they're definitely playing Sin Packing. They can't throw Sin Packing at us, so let's just take 5 here, honestly. Like, we'll just block 3, take 5, and then try to throw the Chokeslam at them. I guess I could have drawn a card here. They're going to attempt to do something else. See, this is tough because we don't really have the opportunity to intimidate or do anything here. We'll just go ahead and draw a card. I think this is fine. Like, we'll just take the first opportunity we get to draw a card, and I think that's okay. We got the card that we wanted intimidated, so we're going to take 5. We're still up 12 points. So we were able to throw the Spinal Crush last turn, which is why we still have this here, and we kind of wasted a turn with our Tunic counter. But we're up 12 points even after their Cast Bones Blood Rush turn, and we're still attacking for 8. So like I think we're in a very good spot here, especially considering that we have, 8 points worth of equipment block if we need it, and they have 3 maximum, 2 that they're okay giving up. I mean, we can throw the Chokeslam here and arsenal the Golden Sun. I think that's our best play, is to arsenal the Golden Sun, considering we have the gold token and we have the Aurum Aegis that we can use. I think this is a pretty good line for us. Throwing these 4 for 8s like this just allows us to leak damage and like just continue to push whatever we can here. It's also worth noting that since we have the Golden Sun in our arsenal, we can just block here, throw the hammer, or do something kind of weak, and then next turn, we can still block and then throw the Golden Sun for quite a bit here. So we're giving ourselves some options, still up 12 points right now. I mean, this isn't a great hand. Man, they're getting so unlucky with their discards. Let's block with Thunderquake. We'll throw the Chokeslam from our arsenal again here. We'll just take 4. Like, I think this is fine. Like, we still have a lot of equipment block left if we need it for anything. And I'm just going to throw the Chokeslam here. I really like pitching the Prime to Fight here because we're putting it in rotation with the Trounce for second cycle, which means if something crazy happens and this turns into like one of the longest, grindiest like games I've seen from a Kayo player, then we're setting up a Prime to Fight and a Trounce for second cycle, which is very good for us and gives us a lot of potential value because this is a 2-card 11 if we win our Trounce. So it's a lot of value there. Okay. So Cast Bones goes to the bottom, and Chokeslam is now active, which means their KO ability is turned off as well, which is really neat. Like, I'm actually a pretty big fan of that. So if they draw and discard, okay, so they did hit a 6, so it's not like it's just a complete wash for them. I think we're safe to block with the Civic Steps here. We were definitely safe to block with the Civic Steps earlier, I believe, but I think now, like, we're definitely okay to do it. Oh, wow. We actually completely get punished here for giving them a Quicken token. Wow. I have to say, I did not see that coming. Yeah, I did not think that we were going to get punished by giving them the Civic Steps there, so I will say that. I don't even need to use my Tunic resource. I can just throw this here, crack the gold, and target this, and then this is 10 overpower. And if they give us a card and this, they're blocking 4, which means they take 6, which means they have to give us the Tunic as well. And now they go to 1. And then we have Debilitate here, like on next turn, so we can just like block 3 cards and throw the Debilitate. If only we had a Reckless Swing, how nice would that be? What do they discard? Discarded a Savage Feast, okay. Man, if Guardian had a card that could deal damage while playing defense, like a Steelblade Shunt or, anything of that nature, that would be crazy. So my go-to blocks here that I'm looking at are the Thunk and the red Debilitate here, because I can use blue Debilitate to throw the I can use blue Debilitate to throw our red Debilitate here, but we'll see what they throw at us. So I think I'm just gonna plan on saying, you know what, I didn't learn my lesson here, and we'll just give them the Quicken token. I think this is fine. They've done a good job at like trying to get this game back in order, but them passing there to save the Might token was horribly wrong. Like, I don't agree with that play at all. Like, at all. I don't think that was a good decision. Because now we're going to get 3 cards out of your hand. Like, guaranteed 3 cards at 8. There is nothing they could have unless it's double Reckless Swing. So now they have a Might, a Quicken token, but they have 1 card in hand and 1 in Arsenal here. Like, I don't... I mean, I don't really want to, like... We have the Command and Conquer to do... I don't know. Let's go for it. Let's put this on the bottom, and we'll put an art card on the bottom, and we draw a Disable. Okay. I mean, I am definitely more interested at this point in time in throwing the bigger attacks here. So like throwing this is more important to me than throwing the Command and Conquer. So let's just come in for 7, because it's going to take 3 cards out of our opponent's hand. And right now we're also up on cards, so playing this like exchanging game is a game plan that favors us to win the game, because we will fatigue them at a certain point. I mean, I guess they could have like a card in Reckless Swing here. Like they did pitch one early on in the game, so like they could have another one here if they didn't want to go that route. Keeping this last gold is very important for us, because having the gold means that that I can overpower the Golden Sun whenever it comes time for it. And there will be a time here, at some point there will be a moment when we get to do that. So if I take 7 and go to 6, I can throw Rouse into Command and Conquer, which should end the game. Like, that should just be enough of a break point to end the game. We're going to reveal Thunderquake and Macho Grande here and come in for 7, go again. It's also worth noting that the Macho Grande probably just ends the game by itself, but this is definitely the way to go, I think. The first thing I want to talk about here is the fact that my opponent started out the game with a Cast Bones. Now, I really think that Cast Bones is a great turn 0 play, but my opponent didn't create the agility, and then they had no way to really punish us. Now, that did also play in part into the fact that we didn't Arsenal because of the Trounce in our hand, but our opponent had 5 Might tokens, and all they did was throw Command and Conquer for 12. Now, I don't really think this is a mistake on my opponent's part, but some pretty bad luck for them as well. The next thing I want to point out is the fact that I won 2 Trounces that game. Winning Trounces is not easy to do into the Brute matchup or in the Guardian Mirror, but winning 2 Trounces is a massive leg up and takes my win percentage from whatever it's sitting at initially way up. Throughout the beginning turns of the game, I was able to amass like a 24-point life lead. That is absolutely insane, and if you give almost any deck a 24-point life lead, they're almost assuredly going to win the game. Now, I do give props to my opponent because they realized that they had to have a flip turn, and they had to try and kill us. Now, even when their flip turn came, they played a Cast Bones, and then on the following turn had a Blood Rush turn, which is absolutely insane, and they can really go bananas that way, but they didn't. Like, their turn like only dealt like 10 damage to us, so we were still able to keep like a 10 to 12 point life lead and still swing an 8 power attack. Having a life total advantage is a really big win at any point in the game, but when you're able to amass an early life lead of a double digit number, you're able to use that late in the game so that you can take some damage to deliver the final blow and really put the nail in the coffin on your opponent. Later in the game, my opponent actually gave me a 4-card hand where I was able to have an Arsenal and a 4-card hand. It's interesting that I didn't throw the Command and Conquer because most people would have just thrown the Command and Conquer, I think. But I actually chose to throw the Disable at my opponent because they are at 1 with 0 equipment block left whatsoever. So that means that if they want to block this out, they're going to have to give me a defense reaction, or they're going to have to give me 3 cards. Even though technically Disable is a worse card than Command and Conquer in my opinion, throwing 7 instead of 6 is a better line because it forces more cards out of my opponent's hand. Overall for this first game, I don't necessarily think my opponent played very poorly. Now, I don't have all the information because I can't see their hands. I know that after they played the Cast Bones on turn 0, they ended up with like what looked like an all red hand, which is pretty unfortunate because they could have used that to really punish me with a Wild Ride or something else, but it seems like my opponent played to the best of their ability from what I can tell, and Victor was just able to grind them out and stay ahead on cards that game. Okay, playing against Kayo, and we're going second, which I think is definitely where we want to be at. It's also, like, the first thing that I notice here is that our opponent is on Cross Trap as opposed to Tunic into us. So I see some people play Tunic, I see some people play Cross Trap. I don't really know why. Like, I know that Cross Trap is played for like a more aggro approach. So I don't know. I don't really know like why they would want that specifically in this matchup here. You playing the Pack Call? No. Okay, so we're gonna block with the Thunk because I think it's the worst card in our hand here. Like the Thunderquake is one I would like to keep, like more than likely, just because it attacks for 8. But I mean that's pretty good also. Like, we could throw the Command and Conquer and heave the Thunderquake. I won't lie, I kind of like that. Like, let's force 2 cards out of our opponent's hand here, and then let's set up 3 Surges here. Now, it won't be a Tunic turn yet, but we're still demanding. I mean, if they want to give us a card, 1 card from hand and 2 pieces of equipment, like, wow, they had a 2 block, so they had to give us the equipment. I think that's a win for us. I think that's a real big win for us, honestly. So 8 and 3 is 11. Yep. So let's block. Let's just go ahead and block 11. Let's plan on staying at 40. Like, the shield is a perfectly fine one to use. And then we're going to throw the Thunderquake here for 8. Being able to heave that last turn so that we can literally block 9 and attack for 8 is crazy. Like, there's just so much value in that. I mean, I'm not going to crack the shield over an agility token. Like, I hate to give them the agility, but I'm not going to be able to use it, so there's no point in my opinion. Our opponent's applying a lot of really good pressure this game. I think we're just going to block 9 here, honestly. Like, I think blocking 9 here is the way to go. We could have, like, blocked 6, kept the Spinal Crush, and then given them Civic Steps, but I think we would have been punished right there the exact same way. Like they didn't, they just passed after they attacked with the Bear Fangs, so they didn't use the agility token, which means they lost out on the points from it, which I think is a win for us. So I think just like blocking out there and throwing the hammer is pretty good here. Hopefully we win this clash. I mean, it's a 7 versus a 7, but no, we're not going to do that. Does the Golden Sun say if you win a clash? Yeah, that's right. It's I know that I knew that the Thunk and the Wallop were win clashes, and I thought that's what that said. I just wanted to make sure. Ooh, drawing the other 2 Golden Suns in one hand is not good. That's not where we want to be. I mean, this will be the 2nd Golden Sun that we've blocked with, and that's like really not what I want. Really don't want that at all. So if they have 3 cards in hand, they can still abuse the Quicken token here. Yeah, we'll just block here. I think this is fine. No, I think I'd rather just keep the Trounce on top and hope that we can win the Trounce that way to like kind of like put more pressure on our opponent and get ahead here. We are up 9 points right now, but our opponent has all of the tempo. It's worth noting that if they leave me with one of the Golden Suns, I honestly might just attack for 10 and break the shield. Like, if I can get away with this turn with blocking with the Golden Sun and like Civic Steps here, then we might just throw 10 at them with overpower and just see what they do. I'm definitely just going to give them the Quicken token here. I think this is a good block. Like, knowing that they're wanting to throw the claw at me right there, I think blocking with the Civic Steps is good. Interesting. And they do just decide to pass. Okay. So I think we can pitch the golden. Like, maybe I'm supposed to arsenal it here. I mean, we know we have the Trounce coming up. So let's use Tunic and let's just come in for 10. Like, I think this is fine. Like, we're just pushing a lot of damage here, trying to put them on the back foot. We're up 4 and we're attacking for 10, and we're arsenaling another potential 10, especially if we win the Trounce. Like, if we're able to win the Trounce next turn, we're in a really good spot. Knowing that we have the Trounce on top of our deck, maybe I'm supposed to leave. Maybe I'm just supposed to attack for 7 and leave the gold in play, because it means that I can reclash and try to win the Trounce, which would be pretty good. But, ooh, double Trounce, huh? Interesting. Well, this is probably going to be a crack Balance of Justice hand to see what we do here. So if they throw the claw first, I mean, they have the Quicken token, so they're incentivized to not throw the claw first. Oh, all right. Attacking for 14 here to start, huh? So let's go Trounce, Civic Steps. I mean, honestly, let's just go double Trounce here. Like, it's unfortunate that they all popped up this way, but I think that's what has to happen. Okay, so we tie. And then we tie again. All right. I mean, definitely not what we wanted to happen, but considering we know that we have a blue on top, I think what we're going to go for here is, if they just pass, I'm just going to crack the Balance of Justice. So the question is, do I want to go to 24 and swing 8? Or do I want to... Why is it not letting me... Okay, there we go. I think we can just block 3 and just throw 7, and I think that's okay. Honestly, I think that's okay. Like, just throwing 7 here is pretty bland. Like, it's not a great play, but we've arsenaled the Golden Sun pretty early here because of how awkward our hand was. They didn't attack us on the turn, so we just ended up arsenaling it. It would have ended up, it's worth noting here that it would have been a better play to actually pitch the Golden Sun to throw the other one. And then that way I would have been able to block 3. And then I would have been able to use Tunic to throw Debilitate that turn, which would have been a good line for us. So definitely showing a little bit of a misstep on my part. Now, I don't know if it's totally a misstep or if, hindsight is, 2020. Like, it's tough to say what is just actually incorrect there. I think let's block 7 here, honestly. Like, I think that's fine. And they get a gold. That's unfortunate. We really needed to win that. I don't think we have straight up won any Clash card we've had here. They are wagering with us. I really don't want them to have the card. Like, I just don't want them to have the agility, if I'm being honest, so... I'm just going to block it all and pass here. We have gotten a little unlucky here with some of our clashes. Like, we haven't straight up won a clash yet. Looking back, like, we haven't... When we revealed the Golden Sun, we didn't even win that because we technically tied. We used the shield to throw a Golden Sun. Like, we have yet to win a clash, straight up anyway. So we'll block 3 and see if we can get this one here. A Vigor would be nice. So he discards the Agile Windup and he happened to win the Vigor wager right there. So that's why he got 3 tokens at one time. Let's see. We have a Test of Strength on top, so we can't really buy a Clash right now. Which you have to clash. You have to win some of the clashes to win these matchups. Like, it's just how it is. You can't win these matchups if you're not winning some of the clashes. And if someone tells you otherwise, I'd please send them my way because I'd like to know what they figured out. Okay, I mean, we still got 2 cards out of their hand. Like, I would consider that a win. We're now at a point to where, like, if we Test of Strength and find a blue, we can actually just, do we lose another one? Jeez. I was gonna say we can, we can play the Asunder here. So we have a Trounce on top, which means I don't want to throw the hammer, which means I'm pretty incentivized to just throw the Buckling Blow. I mean, the Buckling Blow is also 6 damage instead of 4, so there's probably a reason, like there's probably an argument there just to make that play anyway. Yeah, I was like, if he has anything on top, like we've been very unlucky with the Trounces, or like with our clashes this game. This has been very, very unlucky for us. So we won and then we lost. All right. What do we have on top? We have a Command and Conquer and they have a Savage Feast. So we have a 6 on top. So if I go to 11 and I throw the Spinal Crush here, I mean, that requires 2 cards out of their hand, and then they have the Agility and a Might token. I don't like going down 7 points, I won't lie, but I mean, they've played 2 Blood Rushes, right? I don't see the second one, but I'm pretty sure they have. Maybe they've just played 1 Blood Rush, and that's like another game I'm thinking of. I guess they've just played the 1. That's crazy. I could block 3, throw the hammer, arsenal the Spinal Crush. I think I need to throw the Spinal Crush here. Like, I think the options are block 6 and throw the hammer, or the options are throw the Spinal Crush. Like, I think those are the 2 options. Blocking 3 and then attacking with the hammer doesn't really feel like a real choice. Like, we have a 6 on top, but it's about the loss of tempo that we get here. Now, we are giving up a point lead, like we're giving up a life point exchange on the turn cycle. So we are technically losing points on the turn cycle here for this game. But I think this is one of those turns when you have to stop and be like, okay, like this is what needs to happen here. And my opponent deciding to give me 2 cards here, or maybe 3, depending on how awkward their hand is real big for us. Like them having the Humble. Like, that thing only blocks 2. That's really good for us. Which means, even if they have another 3 block in hand, they can block with the Clash of Agility and another 3 block, and then they can throw the Humble at us, and then from there, like, we're just in a good spot. They could also just block with 1 card, and then attack me with something. Like, they don't have to block 6 here. If my opponent wants to keep one of their cards to Arsenal, they can go to 12, and then they can actually just throw, whatever they were going to throw at me anyway. So if I block Command and Conquer and Clash of Vigor, if I win the Clash of Vigor, I can throw the Spinal Crush at them. I think we are at a point to where I need to win a Clash here. And I was like, I need to hope to get a little lucky to win a Clash here. Unfortunately, we didn't, but I think that was the correct play. Because if we hit the Clash of Vigor, we can use Tunic to throw the Pummel, or I'm sorry, the Spinal Crush. And then, again, we're forcing 2 cards out of our opponent's hand. So, we know we have a 6 on top. We're just going to attack for 4 and Arsenal the Spinal Crush here. We'll see what we get here from the Grindstone. Yep, so we're going to get a counter because they had a 7 and we had a 6. That is very unfortunate for us. Arsenal the Spinal. And then, I mean, we can... Let's block 7. Let's see what they do after this. I mean, if they go claw into something, we're in bad shape. And we just have to block. Like, there's no world where we can't block this. No world where we can't block this. The only good thing right now is that they don't have an agility token this turn. Like, if they have a blood rush like that, we could be in a bad spot, but... I mean, then pitching a yellow tells me that their hand, like, isn't the best. Yellow Bear Fangs is interesting. This is like a hyper-aggressive list they're playing. I mean... I could block with Tunic to try and stay... to stay at 3 instead of 2. To not just completely die to the... to not just completely die to the... to a Reckless Swing, which I don't know how many they've played. Might just be the one they've played so far. They might only be on 1, I don't know. I mean, this says go again, so if that's a... I think we have to block 9 here. I don't think I can go to 2. And if they have a swing big, we're just dead. The reason we're losing this game is because we lost every test of strength we blocked with, and we lost and or tied for every single Trounce. We have not won a single clash this game that we have partaken in. Like, they've won the Vigors, they've won everything we've clashed with, and that's very unfortunate for us. Like, again, there's not a super high chance of that happening, so it's pretty unfortunate, but I mean, it is what it is. I mean, most of these lists are only playing 1 Reckless Swing, and I don't think we've seen another one yet. Oh, this is for 8? I don't think we've seen another one, and I'm going to be honest, I wasn't paying enough attention to what they've pitched so far. So maybe we're just supposed to go to 1, and then... definitely blocked with the wrong cards. If we take 2 and go to 1, there's always the chance that they have it, but I don't know how else we have a chance at winning this game. If we just throw hammer here and stay at 3, I don't think we're in a very good spot. Like, plus if we just throw the hammer for 3, they're just going to go to 5, and then they're going to have a 5-card hand with an agility and a might token. This way, we at least have an opportunity to make something happen. Pull a couple cards out of our opponent's hand here. They're going to have double agility. Man, we have lost every clash. Like, I'm going to go back and look at this after this, but I'm pretty sure I have lost literally every clash that my opponent has thrown at me. Well, that's unfortunate. That's a big Sag. Well played, opponent. I was not expecting to die to a predatory assault, so... The most obvious thing for me to talk about from match 2 is the fact that I was losing all my clashes, and I think it might have actually been literally every single one. So in match 1, I won 2 Trounces and I was winning my clashes, so my win percentage went from here to here. Now, in the second match when I'm losing all of my clashes, my win percentage goes from here down to here. So if you're losing clashes as Victor, you're definitely going to see a decline in your win percentage. That's why it's important to have so many 7s, 8s, 9s, and 10s in your deck so that you can do your best to win those clashes and try to gain value over the course of every turn. There was an interesting turn that I had kind of a choice between here early on in the game. So one of my hands was double Golden Sun, and I made the choice to use the Tunic to throw the Golden Sun for 10 overpower, which did give me a 35 to 23 life lead, so a little bit of breathing room there, and then I arsenal the second Golden Sun. Now, in the following hand, I drew up 2 reds, a Debilitate, and another card that I can't remember. Had I pitched the other Golden Sun to come in for 10 overpower to keep the Golden Sun back into my deck, I would have had my Tunic counter available to me next turn so that I could have blocked 6 and then thrown the Debilitate. I think this turn cost me some points here, and I think was the real start of where my tempo started to fade away. So I think I actually played myself a little bit here, and keeping the Golden Sun in my deck would have been a better play anyway, because playing the Golden Sun for 7 is not great. The turn where my opponent rolled Scab Skins, hit a 5, and then went Bear Fangs into Wage Agility was really good. I ended up blocking the Wage Agility there just because I felt like giving them the agility was going to give them so much tempo, and my hand wasn't really that great to be able to throw and disrupt them in any way. I'd like to know what you guys think about this play. Was blocking with 2 cards and a piece of equipment worth stopping the agility, or should I have given them the agility there? In the last 4 to 5 turns of the game, there was a turn where my opponent was at 18, I was at 16, and they threw a blue assault and battery at me, creating the might and the agility token. So at this point, I was able to either take 5 and go to 11 to throw the Spinal Crush, or I was able to block it out and then swing the hammer. Now, being down 2 points at this time, potentially 7 if I take the damage, I think that taking the damage to throw the Spinal Crush was correct because I needed a flip turn, quote unquote, here. And I think the Spinal Crush was just enough to try and give me some breathing room to force cards out of their hand and try to get me back into the game. If you guys see any misplays that I didn't hit on, please let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear about it. If you guys liked the video, be sure to like and subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Take it easy, guys.